Watch what's approaching, the supreme moment. Reality striking closer than it seems, don't it? Go ahead, it's for the taking if you want it. If not, the dream dies and you'll be forever haunted. Then confront it.
What's good? I've been meaning to showcase this unit for a long time, and I'm glad someone brought this up in the comment section on the other video, but we're going to be testing out the Extreme TEQ Bojack unit that's available in the Baba shop for exchange with the medals or whatever you call it. But it does bring up a good point about how there's so many available units in the Baba shop that are still waiting for that Dokkan Awaken. I think there's a lot of opportunity there, and I'm hoping at some point in the near future it actually happens, because like I said, there's a lot of units available on there that could certainly use an upgrade, and I think it'd be a good idea for not only a free-to-play option, but it definitely does add more diversity in terms of, you know, team building, selection process, or whatever. But again, this is going to be the showcase for the Bojack unit, so as always, let's cover the stats and we'll go from there. So again, this is the Extreme TEQ version. Leader skills, agility type enemies, attack decrease to 30%. The super attack, keep in mind, it is extreme damage and lowers defense. So keep in mind when you're seeing the video throughout, it is only extreme damage multiplier, and you know, maybe if he ever does get a Dokkan Awaken, he'll get an upgrade to supreme damage versus extreme. Now for the passive, it's not too bad. Attack increase of 50% when performing a super attack, so 50% is a decent enough boost for this type of unit. Obviously with the Dokkan Awaken, possibly in the future, that percentage will likely increase with maybe some additional skill sets. Now for the links, you've got the Hera clan, that's +2 Ki. Galactic Warriors is 20% increase to attack big bad bosses. Attack and defense increase to 25% when HP is 80% or below. Thirst for Conquest, 15% to attack, and Revival, it's +2 Ki. So overall, the link sets aren't too bad. It's not, you know, it's not ridiculously good or anything, but it's not bad overall. The categories also is pretty decent what he falls into. Resurrected Warriors, movie bosses, and time travelers. I actually had a set of recordings for movie bosses, but decided to just include only a team setup within the Resurrected Warriors category. But I think this guy would do pretty well with either movie bosses or time travelers as well. Now at 100% potential, you're looking at HP of 11,576, attack is 10,641, and defense is 5,715. 12 Ki Multiplier could definitely be a little bit better. It's 130%, but it's certainly not terrible, but it could definitely be better. And again, this guy is available for exchange in the Baba shop with 300 of the incredible gems, and I think you can get a total of 5 copies for that. So that's certainly a way to get this guy rainbowed. But you know, back to the point, there is a lot of opportunity. There's so many different units on there that you really don't hear about too often, that I think with a simple Dokkan Awaken, they could definitely become a little bit more viable options in terms of team building. And you know, the list, we can certainly get into the list of units, but we'll save that for another time where we actually showcase the units. Like another one that was commented or requested was the Strength Android 13, which I do plan on testing at some point, probably within the next week, so definitely stay tuned for that one. There's obviously a lot of other different units on there as well, like the Agility Chaozu unit, Strength Krillin unit, Tech Yamcha unit. There's quite a few on there that could certainly use the Dokkan Awaken, I think, and hopefully they do that at some point. Now for this setup, obviously a good choice for the rotational partner is the LR Bojack unit, so of course you're going to see that within quite a few rotations, but you will see situations where it's a double support rotation, but you will also see rotations where you're not going to get any supporting type units on the rotation. So try to mix it up a little bit as much as possible, just to provide a different landscape of how this unit works. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much a take on that. Again, this guy is decent enough to where you could use him as some sort of option, but I think with the other, you know, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say like how useful this unit actually is in terms of pairing up with the, you know, LR Bojack unit. Certainly could do that, but at this point in the game, unless you're a new player, chances are you probably have the agility or strength type, you know, full power Bojack. That's probably going to be much better in terms of a link setup for the LR Bojack unit. So this is probably one of your last options in terms of finding a linking partner for the LR version of Bojack. So outside of that, this guy could be a good starter deck. Like I remember back in the day when they first announced like the incredible gems as introduction to the game. I remember in like the list of units that was introduced, I remember I exchanged like one copy of this unit, and I bought it and pretty much like immediately regretted it because getting incredible gems back then was a little bit difficult. It's a lot more, in my opinion, difficult than what it was or than what it is now. So they were kind of like a luxury item, and the fact that I spent 300 on the TEQ Bojack, I was like, but it is what it is. But at the end of the day, I think he's useful enough, but I don't know if you necessarily would go out of your way to invest the potential orbs into this guy. I think there's way too many free-to-play options that are simply better, and they're a lot more functional. They're a lot more... I hate to use the word versatile, but I think it applies in the setting. Like, this guy falls into quite a few categories, and the categories that he falls into is quite good, but ultimately I think it just simply comes down to extreme damage multiplier that really hurts this guy. If he at least had Supreme, I think you could probably, with a really good rotation setup, you could probably get close to like 1 million, if not more. So I think with that in mind, that definitely does hurt him, but with extreme damage multiplier, I think he's okay. Again, I'm just simply pointing out that I don't think you necessarily want to go out of your way just to invest potential orbs into this guy. I think they're at this late in the game, I think there's way too much better options of the free to play, where I think you're better off investing elsewhere. That's probably the best summarization of that. Now, the other thing to note is like you definitely don't want to use this guy to level up SA. Like, given the fact there's only a certain amount of copies you can get, I definitely wouldn't recommend that either. Your best bet is either use like the Sleeping Kais or worst case Elder Kais, or the SR Strength Type Bojack unit that does drop in the summonable banners. You could certainly use those toward SA. That's pretty much what I did at when leveling up SA for like the agility full power Bojack or whatever. I can't remember exactly, but that's pretty much the concept with that one. But we won't really go into the details with that. So outside of that, I think the verdict is this guy's an okay unit, decent enough partner for the LR Bojack, but outside of that, I don't think it's necessarily a good recommendation. Now, that highly is dependent on whether he gets the Dokkan Awaken or not, because Bandai has been pretty good about Dokkan Awakening units. Once they actually get their awakenings, they become quite useful in most situations. Not all of them do, but in a lot of cases, they end up becoming a lot better, substantially better. And we can go into examples of which units per se were very good when they Dokkan Awaken. Like the one I like to bring up a lot, or two in mind. One would probably be the Agility Type Super Saiyan 3 Bardock. Now, of course, he was the Super Saiyan Bardock before the Dokkan Awaken, but once it became the Super Saiyan 3, it actually became very good. The other one that I like to think about when I talk about stuff like this is the really old Strength Type Super Saiyan God Goku. Once he got his Dokkan Awaken, he actually became pretty useful, and he's a great linking partner for the Ultra Instinct Goku, I believe. I think that's the one I'm thinking of because of the link skill was like the first Awaken or something like that. Was very beneficial to have in terms of a rotation partner, and he's quite good. The Dokkan Awaken version is very good in terms of, I think it was like attack and defense increase of 80% or something like that. So, Dokkan Awakens definitely changed the game, and we've all seen how much of a game changer the Extreme Z Awakens are. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy how good units become because of an Easy 8, and that's pretty much the same concept. Back then it used to be like rebirths, but more or less, it's more titled or termed Extreme Z Awakening. So that's pretty much the concept with that. And I'm personally a big advocate of that. I love it when they bring back older units and they improve them and bring them back in the game. I think it's a very, very good idea to do that, and I hope they continue to do that with some of the older units. So again, back to the TEQ Bojack unit, I think it's a decent enough unit at this point, but definitely needs a lot of work in terms of improvements. And once he does get that, and at the very least, give this guy a supreme damage multiplier once he gets a Dokkan Awaken. I think once that happens, I think he'll be pretty decent. Outside of that, it's you know it's really up in the air, and I think it's more or less. You know, I hate to say it this way, but collector's item type deal. You know, if you want a copy of it in the deck, or you know, if you want to go all the way and rainbow the unit, you know, for the collector's item purpose, I think you can do that. Outside of that, there's simply better options in the game, especially for the free-to-play format. So that's pretty much my take on the TEQ Bojack unit from the Baba Shop. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. All right, peace out.